Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on the heart. In our last lesson, we learned about the body's transport system, which is called the circulatory system. We learned how blood vessels, blood, and the heart function in the circulatory system to transport nutrients and oxygen to cells. We also discussed how the pulmonary and systemic circulation functions within the transport system. Today, we will learn about the structure and functions of the heart. Let us begin with an activity. Students, what do you think the human heart looks like? How big do you think it is? Take a few minutes to draw a diagram of the human heart.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Thank you for participating, students. I am sure you have some great sketches. The heart is one of the most important organs in the human body. It is about the size of an adult's fist and is composed of muscle tissue called cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle can contract and relax continuously without tiring. The heart is made of 2 pumps that beat at the same time to deliver blood throughout the body. This happens about 70 times per minute. Now compare your sketch to the one you see on screen. Are the two similar? The muscles of the heart wall are supplied with blood by coronary arteries. They are the illuminated structure you see in the image. The muscle walls need a constant supply of glucose and oxygen. Also, it is important that the carbon dioxide that is produced does not build up, so it is carried out. Deoxygenated blood is carried away in the coronary veins and is fed back into the right atrium. The atria, which is the plural form of atrium, are the top chambers of the heart. The walls are thin and can therefore stretch to contain a lot of blood. The walls of the ventricles are much thicker. Ventricles are the lower chambers of the heart that pump blood out to the lungs and body. The walls of the heart are made up of 3 layers, while the cavity is divided into 4 parts. There are right and left atria. These are the 2 top chambers of the heart. There are the 2 lower chambers called the right and left ventricles. The muscle walls on the left-hand side of the heart are thicker than on the right-hand side. This is because the left side is responsible for pumping blood to the entire body, while the right side only pumps blood to the lungs. The right atrium receives blood from the upper and lower body through the superior vena cava, the inferior vena cava, and from the heart muscle through the coronary veins. Vena cava are the body's largest veins. The right atrium opens into the right ventricle through a valve called the tricuspid. Valves function to allow the blood to flow in the right direction by opening and closing. The sound of the heart beating is actually the sound of the valves moving the blood and the closing of the valves. The tricuspid only allows blood to flow from the atria into the ventricle, but not in the reverse direction. The right ventricle pumps the blood into the lungs to be reoxygenated. The left atrium receives blood from the lungs through the 4 pulmonary veins. It is smaller than the right atrium, but has thicker walls. The valve between the left atrium and the left ventricle, called the bicuspid, is smaller than the tricuspid. The bicuspid opens into the left ventricle and is also a one-way valve. The left ventricle pumps the blood throughout the body. The aorta, the largest artery in the body, originates from the left ventricle. The aorta extends down to the abdomen, where it branches off into smaller arteries. The aorta distributes oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body through the systemic circulation. Students, let us do an activity to review what we have just discussed. Please describe the following structures in the heart and explain how they function.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. I hope that activity was not too challenging. Let us look over the answers. The cardiac muscles are the muscle tissues that make up the heart. The coronary arteries supply the cardiac muscle with blood. The atria are the top chambers of the heart that receive blood from various areas in the body and the lungs. The ventricles are the bottom chambers of the heart that collect blood from the atria. The venae cavae include the superior and inferior vena cava. They are the body's largest veins that transport blood into the right atrium. The valves work to allow the blood to flow in the right direction by opening and closing. The aorta originates from the left ventricle and is the largest artery in the body. It transports oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body in systemic circulation. How did you do? Please review the structures of the heart after this lesson. We have reached the end of our lesson. Today, we learned about the heart. We studied the structures of the heart and discussed how they function. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.